When you fund women, you will save the world. Our guest is leveling the playing field for female founders through her multimedia platform focused on empowering female entrepreneurs by providing resources and connections to help accelerate the funding process. Oh, yeah, it's Fab Female Founder Friday on the Startup Life live show. Let's go, everyone. Woo-hoo! Hello and welcome to the Startup Life Live Show. I'm your host, Ande Lyons, 4 times founder and startup champion to founders around the world. And after raising 4 businesses of my own, I gotta tell you, I have a deep appreciation for what you founders are walking through every single day. One minute you're popping the champagne, the next minute you're crying into it. You're trying to figure out how to navigate all the murky waters that come with it. But I know that you are stronger from this experience because you always win when you launch a business, right? So I am grateful that you carved out time to tune in and up your founder game, because as you do better, your business will do better. A big yoo-hoo. Hi, live viewers. Thank you for joining us today. Be sure to pop your questions into the comment section. And a hearty welcome to replay viewers and the podcast listeners. You will love this conversation today, I promise. For those of you watching the video, please take a moment to click that like button. And if you're tuning in from YouTube and you haven't done so already, I would be so grateful for your subscribe and notification love. And to receive a deep dive into each post and each founder, join the meetup group and you'll receive an alert whenever I post a new show. So let me share some Andelicious announcements with you. You know, it's all about bringing the good stuff your way. I'm always recommending that you hop on over to Arlen's Academy. She's always uploading new information all the time to help you and your business grow and glow. And I'm telling you, it's all free, everybody. So why wouldn't you want to do that, right? And check out this wonderful opportunity right now with Think in Color through Thinkific. And it's from the folks of Thinkific, and they help you learn how to start and scale your business with expert-led sessions on course creation, community building, digital product strategy, and more. And the registration is going through July 27th, 2022. Links are in the bio, in the show notes as well, so you can check that out. And you know how much I love Scroobius. That's right. This is a Boston-based, female-founded and led company that empowers founders to create pitches that speak to investors and prepare for their next funding round or accelerator application. And these are video pitches, folks. So you know how important it is to be seen while you're pitching, right? And so use the special Startup Life Live Show promo code Ande15 to receive 15% off. And here's a phenomenal e-course for you. It's outstanding. It's designed to inform and educate female founders so they can dissolve the roadblocks and secure the funding their startups need. And you can just hop right on here. There's the URL. And for those listening, it's bit.ly/35 lowercase n, uppercase F, uppercase C, lowercase n, O. Oh my gosh. We love hearing about all these wonderful ways that founders can up their game. And founders, you know, here's my big hug to you. I know what you're going through. I understand how challenging it can be. And remember to ask for help, okay? You can ask for help here. You can engage. And while we're having our delicious conversation, you can amplify your brand. I want you to share your business name, your one-liner, and your URL in the comment threads, and we will showcase and celebrate you and your wonderful work live during the show. And here's why. This gets listened to for years to come. Lots of replays, thousands of replays, downloads on the podcast, and I have plenty of testimonials from guests and participants who have advanced their startup because of someone they met here. So be sure to connect, share, and engage. All right, so I get to introduce you to our guest. Let me bring up the artwork because she's just so amazing. Let me bring this up. It's the one and only Catherine Gray, a speaker, producer, author, founder, and host of the Invest in Her podcast. Catherine focuses her extraordinary energy on empowering female entrepreneurs by providing resources and connections to help accelerate the funding process. her popular e-course. That's right, the one I just mentioned right earlier in the Andelicious announcements. It's 6 ways to fund your business. It's designed to inform and educate female founders so they can dissolve the roadblocks and secure the funding their startup needs to succeed. We are going to level up our female founder game today. Please welcome to the show, Catherine Gray.
Thank you. Thank you, Ande. That's a fun introduction. I always love your energy. It's amazing and it's contagious.
Thank you. Let's take a moment to say hi to some of our friends here. Hey, Ann Metzger, you're
Hey,
the best.
Ann.
Oh my gosh, Ann is saying, looking forward to you two connecting, two of the best connectors and dynamic women I've ever met. Aw,
We love Ann's 360 Venture Collective that helps fund women.
Absolutely. Women in healthcare, folks. So come on, check Ann out, connect with her on LinkedIn. Okay. And Brent coming in from Ottawa, Canada. Brent is always here to remind us that neurodiverse and disabled folks out there are great to have on board in your organizations. Innovation needs to be aligned with diversity in the disabled and neurodiverse space, period, end of stories.
Love that.
And hey, Ruth, so happy. Ruth is our community manager here at the Startup Life Live show, and she just loves to say hi to everybody and works the crowd, so to speak. And Mia Voss, okay, you know Mia's in the house, so I've got to do this, everybody. Hold on, let me just bring this down. Hi, Mia, I'm going to pull up your artwork. If you haven't subscribed to Shit We Don't Talk About with Mia Voss, there's the QR code. Go to shitwedon'ttalkabout.com. Phenomenal podcast. Phenomenal conversations with the one and only Mia Voss. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. And hey, Kayla, how's it going? I'm going to wave to you too. It's so nice that you're here. Yay. So where are you hailing from right now, Catherine? Where's home for you?
West Hollywood in Los Angeles, California.
Sweet.
Yes.
Yay. Yes. Folks, share where you're hanging from right now and hailing from in the comment section. We always love to wish you all the best wherever you are enjoying life. I'm here in Boston. We're having our first heat wave, so we're all good. Life is great here. So, Catherine, let's dive into your background a little because you spent 15 years in the cable television. What called you to step into projects for the greater good and eventually become a film producer and champion for female founders and women empowerment? It's a loaded question, I know.
That's a big question. Well, first of all, I started off my career in cable TV advertising, and I was around 40 when I had an opportunity to go help start a gay cable network. And people thought I was crazy, that I was leaving corporate America, making a lot of money, really doing a great job and loving it. But I just thought, wow, there's more to life. And when I got this opportunity to go help start a gay cable network, I thought, this is really what I want to do with my life. I want to do something that makes a difference and has a purpose. And so ever since I left corporate America to do that, every endeavor I've had has always been, hey, what's my purpose and what am I doing to make the world a little better place? And so that's
It's your
kind of
ikigai, right?
I follow.
Yeah, it's, it's that Venn diagram, folks, where you're on purpose, you're changing the world, making it a better place, you're earning money, and you yourself are feeling empowered by the work in the world that you're doing. I love that. And what was it about producing, that called to you? Because, folks, I got to tell you, it's the ultimate entrepreneurship adventure when you are producing a film, right, Catherine?
It is. When I was in cable TV advertising for many years, on the side, I would also, as well as producing commercials, I started producing the very first gay TV show in the country on a local basis. It was in Miami. There were no gay characters on TV. There were no gay TV shows. There was no Will and Grace.
Ellen hadn't come out yet?
No, Ellen had not come out. This was in the 80s. And I bought the airtime and I started to produce a show called Way Off Broadway and went to all the different gay owned businesses in South Florida from like Palm Beach to the Keys and got them to get behind it, made commercials for them, bought the airtime and produced a variety show that also included for the first time ever in the country, a female impersonator hosted it. And so
like early drag queen.
Yeah, and once it
Yeah.
aired, the people that I bought the airtime from, they were like, "What? What is this show you produce? What we're getting calls about this," but I already owned the airtime, so there was nothing they could do about
Oh,
it, and that was
sweet.
my first foray into doing something I think that was making a difference.
So, when you were growing up, what kind of role models did you have that gave you the confidence to go off and do this? Or did you sort of fall into this category because you cared so deeply about solving a problem? Something had to happen that made you feel compelled to make the world more inclusive.
Yeah, I think it was a combination. I did grow up with entrepreneurs for parents, so they
No
definitely.
way.
Yeah, yeah, they
Really?
were definitely an inspiration and made I think, from that I got the confidence that, I could be an entrepreneur and start my own business. But it was also twofold, like you said, that strong desire that says, "Hey, this isn't fair. I don't see gay people on TV." It's really important to young gay children to see role models, and to see themselves on television. So I felt like there was two things I wanted to tackle. One was a presence on TV that was positive, and the second was my second endeavor, which was the documentary "I Can't Marry You." I thought it was very important that children have the opportunity to see that they could grow up and get married too. So I made the first documentary about the federal rights and benefits and protections, and I happened to finish it right when we could get married in San Francisco and Massachusetts. And so for that reason, and because I did get Ellen DeGeneres' mom, Betty, fortunately agreed to narrate it, I did get that on PBS. And that was my first documentary.
Okay, everybody, let's just take a moment, celebrate Catherine. That
Thank
is
you.
huge. I mean, and I love the buildup. Okay, so you got a real good feeling of the cable network landscape, right? So you knew that when you wanted to create your show, that you had to nail down that airtime, right? And
Yeah.
so to make it happen, then get the advertisers in. So fortunately, you had the advertising experience to bring them in and fund it. And I
Right.
can just see how all of that led and prepared you, your lived experience, so to speak, to then do this phenomenal and so important film. Tell everybody again the name and can they find it today to watch?
Yeah, it's still online. You can still purchase it. It's called "I Can't Marry You." I did think it was outdated because, I mean, now we could get married, same-sex marriage, and now all of a sudden it's
Yeah.
being jeopardized, that they're trying to, of course, overturn it. And now it's relevant again, but
Yeah.
might have to do a follow-up to it,
Right. But
saying instead of "I can't marry you," I hope I can still stay married to you, you know, something like that.
I tell you, I mean, but for you to have to see what was on the horizon, and honestly, Catherine, at that time, when did you produce that movie? When was
Well, I
that?
started it around 2000 after I'd worked for a gay cable startup network that
Mhm.
didn't fly, but it was still the best year of my life because I did leave corporate America to help start a gay cable network. And that's when I realized, wow, it is so exciting and exhilarating to work on something that really makes a difference to you. And I thought, we really need a gay television network. And so it was, I'd left corporate America at a very well-paying job to start that because I so believed in it. And I realized nothing fueled me more than to know that I could be working on something that could be so game-changing and affect so many people's lives. And so that's what fueled me to do it.
Yeah. Ah, and folks, that's what you need. Yeah, you may recall a guest a few episodes ago. He said, jet fuel, that's what I have in my blood, right? To
Yes.
help you and keep that passion. And so here you are in early 2000, right before we all, I got goosebumps when you told that story, putting out the film, and then the laws were starting to change in
Well, and
Massachusetts.
here's the thing, they really weren't starting to change. I do believe it's film and television that helps change culture, and so even my own gay community said, "You're crazy. That's never gonna happen for us to have gay marriage or same-sex marriage. That's never gonna happen." And I said, "Well, why not? It should. Why shouldn't we be allowed to get married?" And by the way, everybody, it comes with over 1,000 rights and benefits and protections from the federal government that we're not getting. And so it was really about educating people. Fast forward to today, that's why I'm working on what I do today and the film that I'm working on now is to educate people about how underfunded women are. Again, I think it's not as well known a fact that we get less than 2% of venture capital funding as it should be. And what are we going to do about it? And so that's, my new
I'm
thing that I'm
excited
very
about
focused on.
this. Yeah,
Yeah.
very much so, because I've been hearing this 2% since the dot-com days, and was raising millions of VC money for a dot-com, and over with my other businesses. And of course, being fully entrenched in the startup ecosystem, to me, it's like I'm bored. I was listening to a well-known VC firm here in Boston, the home of venture capital, everybody, just saying. And he was once again talking that lip stuff. Oh, we need to, we've got to. And I'm just like, please stop it with the lip service. I want a scorecard of who said we're going to invest in more, and they did. And I don't want to ever hear this again. We've already met our minority startup and percentage quota for the year. I don't ever want to hear that again,
Right,
Catherine.
right. Ridiculous.
Right.
Yeah.
So Catherine's Twitter handle, Brent, is right up here. It's at She Angels Invest. You can see it right up there on the screen there. And Kayla, absolutely, representation is so important. And I love that, your friends, you tell you, and this is what many founders experience, Catherine, is that, what are you thinking of? Why would you want to do that? Stay with your calm job and your steady paycheck. But as you said, when you're so compelled to educate and bring people forward, tell us a little bit about this movie. Because again, I don't want to eye roll, but this 2% has been going on in less than 2%. And forget if you're a woman of color, or it's just ridiculous. And the LGBTQ community often doesn't even say they're a member of the community because they don't want the bias. Talk about how you're going to educate folks with this film.
Right. Well, first of all, there hasn't been a film to educate people about it. And like I said, I do believe it's film and television that helps raise awareness and make change. So, first of all, we're just raising awareness about that fact, and then talking about why it is, and then talking about the exciting changes that are happening and how people, the viewers, can actually be part of the solution. And that's really what the film is about. It's about this new revolution of women starting in their own funds, like Ann Metzger and 360 Venture Collective. I know Ann's on the show with us today in the audience, but more and more companies like that are starting. These women are these trailblazing, amazing, smart, driven women are starting their own funds. That's really the first step to our changing this, because we all know they've all been run by old white men, and people tend to invest in people they identify with. So that's who gets the funding.
Yep, the male, pale, and stale, folks. Yeah.
Yeah. And the only way to change it is to have more female founded funds. So I really applaud the women that are starting that. The film's about that. It's about the women who are investing in these funds, because we need more female angel investors. That also is what's going to move the needle. And then it's about the women that are the female founders that are the recipients of these funds, that are doing game changing things that will impact the planet in an amazing way, that otherwise would not be getting funding if these female founded funds did not exist. And so there's so many of them out there. You just mentioned Backstage Capital. There's SoGal Ventures, and so many others that are just coming into.
There's a really cool one out there too called Enabled. I think that's
Mhm.
what it is. And it's for disabled founders,
Oh,
because that's
fantastic.
where I got that whole innovation will be synonymous with disabled. Because when you think about all the disabled founders and what they have problem that they've had to solve, it's amazing. So
Yeah.
let's talk about these funds a little. And I bring this up because, folks, you can read about all these great funds that are out there. If you've pitched to them, you could have a female general partner, whatever, and they're like, yay. But who is writing the check? Because if the committee is men, they're not going to even, it's like they've got blinders on to women,
Right.
unless they're like, well,
Exactly.
have we met our quota? But also, this is what I want to talk about too, Catherine, which is When you raise a fund, folks, whether it's 10 million or 50 million, and I'm going to put a list in the show notes, folks, of some amazing female-led run venture firms. You are going to be looking for money. Okay. And, Catherine, it takes me back to when Emily's List was founded. Folks, Emily's List was founded because women were not donating to political campaigns. They were not using their funds. This is what women need to do today with venture capital. What about the whole LP? You're bringing in money from Bank of America. So all of a sudden you have to meet their initiative. You're bringing in these other funds. When you start pulling on this thread and creating your business, what did you learn about that aspect? Because that can be a chokehold on investing in female founders.
Here's the thing. There are millions of women out there that could be angel investors. They meet the criteria. They could be, but they're not even aware of it. They don't even know what an LP is, which everyone is a limited partner in a venture capital fund. So there's a couple things that women out there who qualify, who are super successful and would meet the criteria to become an angel investor. They have a couple of options. They can either look up a local angel investment group, Golden Seeds, or just a local one that exists there in every city, and go learn about it so that they can become an angel investor. This is what's going to move the needle. Not only do they want to do it because it's the right thing to do, it's exciting. You get to hear all the cutting edge technologies coming out, the innovations, and it can be very lucrative. It's like the best kept secret in making money that women are not privy to. And then the second part is, if you don't want to be an angel investor and pick your own things that you want to invest in because you don't feel confident about it, you can become a LP, a limited partner in a venture capital firm that's started by women, and they will take your money. They are very efficient, smart, seasoned. They vet them, and you put your money in that fund, and then they invest in 10 or 20 or 30 different companies. And all it takes is for
Why
them to
play
hit
in the market
unicorn.
right now? Also, and when you hear the stats, everybody, about how well women founded and led businesses do on a revenue and how they become profitable and sustainable, and the return on the investment, it's like, why isn't everybody just rushing to to these folks? So I love that we're talking about venture funds right now, because they can be a little confusing. We can get into this old mythology about how VC works. When I started into the venture capital field, which was in the late 80s, there was a floor. You didn't, we're not going to invest anything under 5 million, and we're not going to, and come to us when you're A, maybe B, C series. Talk about how that's changed today, how these VC funds are going to be more like angels versus traditional.
Yeah, so many of them are doing pre-seed and seed, which means that before they do the Series A. So they're getting in earlier, which is great for people investing.
Yeah.
Women tend to invest in things like real estate, stocks, bonds, but this is a very exciting and lucrative arena that they need to make as part of their diversification. And they meet the most exciting women in this arena. So it's also a lifestyle, it's an investment. You're giving back and paying it forward to the rest of the world to be a better place. Maybe you don't have that big invention, but you get behind someone that does. It's a very exciting opportunity. And that's why I'm doing everything I'm doing with my multimedia platform, whether it's the Invest in Her podcast or the e-course that I teach women how to find funding and what types of funding are out there, or if it's the film that I'm producing to bring awareness to the female-founded funds that are out there and how they can be part of it. So I don't know if did that answer your question?
Absolutely. And I asked that, folks, because just like a lot of accelerators popped up in 2008 to help founders get better at what they're doing, I'm seeing a lot of accelerators for funders now. And I get a little concerned, and you probably know more than I do about this, but who's training them? Because you can start your fund, or you want to be an angel investor and have your initiative, but who's going to start forming your filters, your thesis for investing? And are you going to still be bringing that wonderful energy versus having, and I'm just so concerned, the old white male way of doing VC, training you. And so would you talk a little bit about that, Catherine, and what you've learned as you've pulled on this thread with this movie?
From what I have experienced, these women that are starting these funds are amazingly brilliant, and they're from, Wharton School, they're from Yale, they're from Harvard. These are smart women. And I think, if you look at someone like Pocket Sun, who in her 20s started her first venture capital firm. Some women are just smart. They have the education, they have the will to move it forward. She's done amazing things. She's good at selecting the right companies to get behind. She's picked several unicorns, which is unusual.
And this is how she got picked up, folks. She just happened to be working, I don't know, like within some little group. And
Yeah.
she happened to pick two, and the VCs all sat up and went, "Hello, two unicorns? Come with us."
Right. Exactly. So more and more of the male investors are starting to learn that if they don't invest in these female founded funds and these female founders, they are really missing out on potential for a lot of unicorns, which is billion-dollar companies. So the more of those we have, the more they realize, oh, they're going to miss the boat if they don't invest in women. But let's face it, we are 50% of the brain power out there.
Right.
If you're not investing in women, you are missing the boat. But when people ask me, well, shouldn't we be looking more at men than women investing in this? And I say, no, how's that been working for us? So more women do need to become angel investors and limited partners. It is inevitable if we're ever going to move the needle. So it's an exciting time to be in the investment world because it is doing a shift. Like you said, it hasn't shifted much in the past, decade, but I think look out in this next decade.
Excellent. And with your film, what's the name of the film again?
It's currently titled Girls Just Want to Have Funds.
Girls Just Want to Have Funds.
Yeah. I mean, it's about the fact that we're so underfunded. How are we going to change that? It's fun to be involved in the investment world. Very exciting. Really brings so much more exciting than any other investment they could be a part of. And it's like a community.
It is.
Yeah, it's like getting to step into a secret club that is amazing that they're missing out on, but they could be a part of.
Oh, it's so exciting. I'm just all on the edge of my seat with that level of excitement. And the thing to remember, folks, is that, for example, there's a fund out of Latin America that their first fund, they had 2 unicorns. So they just closed, I think, on another. What is it when your first fund is completely dispersed? I don't know what the term for that is. I can't think of it.
Well, the thing, the thing is that if a fund hits a unicorn or 2, you're probably going to make 50 times your money, 100 times your money. This is something that could never happen in the stock market, the bond market, the real estate market. That's why the opportunity is so great. Of course, like anything, it's not a guarantee. But if you get in the right fund, the right people, and you hit these unicorns, you will make a tremendous amount of money. And so the potential is there. And it's why part of the diversification should be there. I just was speaking to a woman the other day who said, oh yeah, I put 25% of everything I earn into funds and angel investments. And I think more and more women should sit up and look at that. If they're already a successful businesswoman, they're really missing out if they don't become part of this entity, this whole investment world.
Absolutely. You can change the world. You can feel like you're doing something. You're part of the journey. And folks, if it doesn't work out, it's still going to feel great to have been part of that opportunity.
Exactly.
And you can go on a vacation and never feel that. You can drop $25K on a good 2-week vacation somewhere. All right. Or in a beautiful piece of jewelry. Take that money instead and put it into something like this where people are being fed, employed, et cetera, that you're going on with this opportunity. You do the best you can, being in alignment with the founders. And I got to tell you, I am so excited about this shift happening, Catherine, with female funders. And I know that the shift has had to happen for female founders as well, not just in learning how to raise the money and getting out there and asking for big chunks of money and funding, but also not thinking that they have to work harder.
And one of
That's
the most important things that you brought up that I don't want to overlook is the the entry into the investment. So there are angel investments out there that start at $1,000, $5,000, $10,000. You could get into some of these funds for as little as 25,000. Some of them are more like 250,000. Some are at 100,000. You just have to find the angel group or the venture capital fund that fits your budget. But there's not a barrier to entry if you qualify to invest. And that means that you're making over 200,000 a year, or you have $1 million in assets over and above your home. I know that narrows it for a lot of people, but let's face it, people fall into 3 categories. They're either those people that can invest, or they are someone that needs that investment funding. And so, which category are you in? Let's help each other.
That's right. And that you're working on improving generational wealth out there, right? That's so that you can invest in businesses, not just the stock market.
Right.
Angela Sanchez, how are you doing? She's saying, hi, where can we find this film? So it's in the hopper. They're in the process. So Catherine, talk a little bit about what stage you're in. And Angela, please share your business name, one-liner, and URL. Thank you.
So at She Angel Investors, so that's angel singular, investors plural, She Angel Investors, we have all that information there. So I have produced a series in the past called She Angel Series, which is on that site. And then this one is the documentary that's in the making. We're filming it as we speak, and it will be out at both the film festivals and on streaming within, in the new year. So that's something that we're working on now. But the podcast that I do every week, Invest in Her, is also on the site, as is the ecourse 6 Ways to Fund Your Business, which is funding made simple for female founders. With that particular course, I said to myself, I have all this knowledge of all these different various types of ways to fund a business. Most women don't know where to start. They have a great idea. They want to launch their business. They want to grow their business, but they don't know where to begin. It can take hours and brain power to try to figure out, well, what are the different options and how do they work? And we've tried to simplify it. It can be so complicated, so hard to understand. So we've made it simple to understand. We've made it not only simple to understand by featuring different experts in each arena, but also at the end of the course, actual contacts of how you connect to these different sources. So I wanted to make it affordable, easy to understand, so that any woman could get access to funding. Because let's face it, you can't launch or grow a business without funding. And so that was the reason that I created that e-course.
And it's so important that you brought this up. And folks, remember the URL will be in the show notes. Just click on that, get on over to sheangelinvestors.com. You'll learn everything you need to know there. But it's so important that female founders understand that they bring their unique voice to their pitch, that they understand how they are going to leverage. What are they going to use this fund for? What kind of runway is it going to give them? And where is it going to take them? A lot of folks, Catherine, when you say, well, did you do a family, and friends round? And they're like, what? I'm loaning $20 to a family sleeping on my couch. There's no family and friends here. So folks, this is why it's so important that you get trained, that you understand what is the flow? What do investors want to hear? And Catherine, what you said, that is absolutely, and I believe more important than financial capital, social capital. Talk about that introduction process and how, you can help folks meet folks, perhaps an investor or someone who might lead to an investment.
Yeah, Ande, this is what I do every day. I try to connect women to the right sources, whether it be someone like yourself that helps them with the pitch deck, because that's really important that they have a strong pitch deck, to angel groups, angel investors, funds, or even just steer them in the right direction. Different funds look for different types of businesses, and that's really important that you reach out to the right ones, or else you're wasting their time and yours. There's a lot to know, and that there's things outside of venture capital, because venture capital may not be the right way for you. Angel investment might not be the way. So there's other types of ways that you can raise funding other than those. So there's a lot of opportunity out there to get funding.
Hold on, everybody. I'm having an Andelicious moment. This is so important for you to take in, female founders. It's the asking for help, taking a course like Catherine's course to up your founder game. You do not do this alone. If I see one more title about a self-made anybody,
Right.
no, it's programs like Catherine's that will help you elevate and leverage and find out where the gaps are in your knowledge base and make you less afraid. And if you've been raised with the good girl, mythology, you have to understand you can ask for money. And, we see our female friends who know how to do that really well. And we go, gosh, I wish I could do that well. Well, you can be trained to do it well and find the words to do it well. Right, Catherine?
Yes. In fact, I have someone that I really admire who's a thought leader. Her name's Andrea Quinn. Andrea Quinn Coaching puts on a workshop for women. It's called Nine Tools to Accomplish Anything. And she's real big about talking about how women don't allow themselves to ask, and then they don't allow themselves to receive. And it's a wonderful mindset course about how to change that. So I really admire what she's doing there to help women change that mindset. We do grow up in an environment where women aren't taught those things.
They really aren't. And I want everybody to write this down and put it on some yellow stickies around your environment. It's so easy for me to receive. Women are really indoctrinated to give, 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 give. How can I make your life better? Start looking around and think about who can I get some goodness from, right? Whether it's an introduction, et cetera. So I'm going to put Andrea Quinn's information in the show notes, everybody, because she sounds delicious.
Yeah.
Angela Sanchez, we interviewed Angela a few months ago here in the Startup Life Live show. She's a Greater Boston. I've got a ring on from one of her other companies, but she has a company and she's entered the construction space, folks. All right. And her company, mergetech.com, that's merge-tech.com, is a marketplace for connecting minority-owned businesses with prime contractors in the construction industry. You go, Angela.
Well, I love that. Good for her. That is awesome.
Isn't it?
We should connect her to a woman that creates the construction boots, hats, and everything for women in that arena. The two of them should meet.
Excellent. We'll make that happen. Thank you, folks. This is how you connect on a live show. Just want to share that with you because someone's going to hear about Angela's company again and be able to take action as well. So let's talk about right there behind you. Invest in her. You have almost 300 episodes that you have done. Talk about this. What compelled you to launch this podcast? You have amazing guests on the show. Talk about that. Invest in her.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. It's something I really do enjoy doing on a weekly basis. I have on phenomenal female founders and funders, and I'd like to try to connect the two, of course. And so I just wanted to make a show that was, full of resources for women that needed funding. And that's the purpose of Invest in Her podcast. So we try to provide resources on a regular basis that will help them either to find money or to find investments.
Great. And again, you're going to visit sheangelinvestors.com. It's located right there. The segments are about 30 minutes long. It's just so easy. And you've got a Facebook page too, that sometimes you pop it in over there.
Yeah, well, actually, Catherine Gray / Invest in Her is my Instagram. And then, of course, people can find the show on Apple and Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts. Yeah, we welcome you to subscribe so you get it every week because it's full of, resources. And I love doing it because I get to meet the most extraordinary women on the planet who are just either creating game-changing ideas and inventions, or they are women that are funding those types of women. So they're all incredible and amazing, and I have the pleasure of getting to speak with them every week. So it's an honor.
I understand that feeling very
Yeah.
well. So honored to have you here on the show today.
Thank
Yay,
you.
yay,
Thank
yay.
you. Back
And
at
it,
you.
and it's, what we learn, folks, as hosts, from our guests. Oh my gosh, and it really ups our game as well. And Angela says, thanks, please. Yes, please. Thank you. So, okay, Angela, you know what to do to make that connection happen. So, as you have been moving through life, success looks different to us at different stages, right? And
Yes.
where are you at today and how are you measuring success? What does it look like for you over the next few years? And of course, I always like to remind everybody, please don't use someone else's tape for measuring. What you're doing is right for you. Okay. So, always know that. So, Catherine, what does success look like for you right now?
For me, success is getting the e-course out to millions of women around the globe so that they learn how to get funding for their businesses, and to have the film, which is, we just talked about,
Yeah.
girls just want to have funds out into the world as well, to educate and raise awareness of how underfunded we are, but how women can be part of the solution. I think, we don't want to just talk about the problem. We want to talk about how do we all get together and have a solution. And so just to know that I've moved the needle on getting women funded and raising awareness to move that needle, that's my purpose on the planet. And it's why it's what drives me every day.
And I'm so happy that you're in your joyful purpose, Catherine, in doing that. I love that. And folks, remember, I'm going to bring it up. I'm old enough to know when Emily's List came out. So I use this as a wonderful example for venture capital, where women would go and have a bake sale or make cookies for their alumni drive. Okay, for the college that they went to. Whereas the men were looking around and saying, who wrote the largest check to the alumni organization? And why
Mhm.
do I need to beat that or at least be at the same level? Women would never think like that. And so through Emily's List, they made it just so easy breezy to take and write checks and make changes, whether it's local, state level, or national. And this is what you are doing with your education through the course, your e-course, but also through the movie. I'm so excited for when that comes out. Folks, we can change perceptions and make a difference with our money. Okay. Again, you can repurpose what you have coming in different ways. It doesn't always have to sit in that 401k. Just saying. No advice here. Okay. We're not financial advisors.
Right.
Oh, thank you, Kayla. She loves that great question for success. So, I said earlier, self made, that's a myth. Everybody has wind added to their sails and doors opened. Who helped lift you up over the years, Catherine, that we can just give a quick shout out to?
I would say who I just mentioned, Andrea Quinn, as well as my wife, Deborah Smalley. I think everybody needs a good partner behind them to cheer them on and support them in the good times and the tough times. And she is the most amazing woman on the planet. And then, just various people that I just admire, that are thought leaders, whether it's Brene Brown or Oprah,
Right.
they
Right.
certainly inspire me,
Exactly.
and,
I've been
and millions of others.
I love that. And and you are inspiring folks every day, everywhere you go, every time you speak out, every panel that you're on, anytime you're speaking, you're helping female founders. One thing that we often see, especially if you have co-founders, one male and one female, that the women are being asked the preventative questions, whereas the guys are all being asked when you succeed, those kind of things. And how are you advising in your courses, in your conversations with folks? How are you, advising and helping and training women to take those kind of questions and instead of wanting to just slap them across the face when they ask it, bring them back to the vision and mission of the business? Share some of what you've learned in helping female founders.
I think just people have to stand in their truth and their authentic self. They have to be super passionate and believe in it and know that when they're asking for monies or looking for funds, that it's not about asking for themselves. that it is about asking for the purpose of this download that you've gotten, that's your purpose on the planet, and that nothing can get in the way of that, or else you're letting the world down if you don't bring that product or idea or service to the world that you're meant to. And you have to stand firm in that conviction when you're asking for funding.
Oh my gosh, there's the sound bite, everybody, right there. You know, I don't know if I can make it a stitch that on a pillow moment, but I will. Here we go. Stand in your truth. Be confident, right? And, ask for the funding. So over the years, I know that you've had moments where you have felt inadequate. Could have been yesterday as you're producing this new film, could have been 20 years ago. What is your favorite mindset hack for when you're feeling like, ugh, why am I doing this? Why bother, etc.?
I think you always have to be in gratitude, and that will ground you and keep you going. The minute that you pick up that gratitude journal and start writing down what you're grateful for, you can't help but to feel anything but joyful and empowered. And let's face it, not one day goes by that we don't have things that we could absolutely be grateful for, even on a bad day. So that's my advice.
I love that. Something fierce. And I challenge anybody listening or watching to start every day with 10 gratitudes, even if it's like the sky is blue or my coffee tastes delicious.
Yeah.
Okay. It doesn't have to be any big picture. It can be in the moment right now. Oh, I'm feeling good. I'm grateful for that. Right.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
it's so powerful. I love that. Um, you've been on this journey and you've been out there. You've done a TED talk. I watched it. I loved it. How did you
Thank you.
get to do that? And why did you choose the topic?
Well, it's called Fund Women Save the World. The Dalai Lama says the Western women will save the world. And I say, how are they going to do that without funding? I think funding is essential to us saving the world, but I do think women will save the world, and we do need to get them funded. We need a female perspective. Looks what's happening to the world. It's just in an awful place. And the only way, and I think it gives us all hope, is to know that more and more women are going to be stepping into positions of influence, whether it's politically or if it's getting their business ideas funded that will help things like climate change or different things that we have as obstacles in this world. Women have the solutions, cures, inventions, ideas that, we've done so many in the past that have gone unnoticed. But we definitely will influence the future. And so, that's the way I feel about it.
I have to say, you are the gift that keeps on giving, Catherine. You're out there empowering women with such, a beautiful fierceness. You're there reminding female founders, you've got this, which is the most important thing you can do, folks, to anybody in your life. Don't sit there and cry with them. Sit there and remind them that they've got this. What are you working on now that's so important that you would love to have the Startup Life Live community add some wind to your sails and help boost your wonderful work in the world? I know you've been outstanding at reminding everybody ways that they can do that. But, I think that you've got some initiatives right now that are very important as well.
Sure. Well, we're still raising funding for our film. We've already started shooting. I have an award-winning female director, an Academy-nominated female editor, just an amazing team.
Wow.
As you can see, also exceptional people we're featuring. So if somebody is interested in being, an executive producer, investor, they can certainly reach out to me if they feel as passionate about this film as I do. And so that would be one of the ways that we could,
How would they reach you,
collaborate.
Catherine? What's the best way to reach you?
The best way to reach me would be through the website,
Great.
contact at sheangelinvestors.com.
Great.
And then the other way, the other support is just that share with your colleagues about our ecourse, 6 Ways to Fund Your Business. It is a wonderful solution to educate people in a simple way. It's so simple to learn it, watch it, digest it, and utilize it. I really have, put a heart and soul into collecting all the information and aggregating it in one location so that it does make funding simple for female founders. They don't have to pound their head on the wall saying, how am I going to fund this business?
Mhm.
Yeah, I wanted to make it simple and as possible. And that's what we've done
And
with
is it self-paced once they get
it.
going?
Is. Yes. Yes.
Excellent. And what kind of support do they get when they, once they get into the course? Do they have any one-on-ones?
Well, at the end of the course, they actually get actual contacts to help them take it to the next level. So, yeah, I felt like that was really important that we didn't just leave them hanging, but yet say, here's where you need to reach out to. Here's who you need to connect to.
Great. Oh my gosh. Well, we have a lot of female founders on the show, and I know they're going to love meeting you and learning from you. We have a lot in the audience as well. What final words would you like to share with the female founders out there to help them on their journey?
Just bravo to you for being a female founder. It's not easy, but it is so rewarding. And you do have people that are cheering you on, and don't try to do it on your own. It takes a village, and reach out and make those connections. And you'll find a lot of joy in making those connections. And the wins will feel miraculous and invigorating and will keep you going. So live in the joy of the moment that you are doing something great.
Excellent. I love that, something fierce. And now for the female funders, your last words of advice and wisdom.
The female funders, what an opportunity to diversify your portfolio and get into something extremely exciting. You're going to learn so much and meet so many incredible women that are the funders and that are also the other, that are the founders.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an incredible world to immerse yourself in, not only lucrative, but exciting. And every day will be so invigorating to be talking to the women that are helping change the world, and you can be a part of it.
Excellent. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Catherine. Folks, I met Catherine through Jill Johnson's international entrepreneurship program, EIFEL, and you were on a panel. You brought such wisdom then. You brought it today. Every time you open your mouth, wherever you show up and glow, you're adding so much value to the startup ecosystem for women. I am just deeply grateful for your time and presence today. Any last thoughts before I pop you in the green room and wrap up the show?
Just that I appreciate you and this show and the work that you're doing, Ande. Thank you so much for bringing the joy today.
Okay, thank you. I know we learned so much. I'll be right with you as after I wrap everything up, so don't go anywhere. Folks, was that not just pure deliciousness? Don't you feel like you have someone in your corner who is there, who's believing in you and your ability to get it done? Women will save the world. Give them some funding. So I just love that we talked about the female founders, but also those of you who can write a check. Come on, it's the best. Catherine's absolutely right. It's the best experience to be able to participate, be on the joyride of someone's journey with a business that you're passionate about and a founder that you're passionate about. So speaking of great founders, let's talk about who's going to be coming up next on the Startup Live show. And it's the nonprofit fundraising goddess, Mallory Erickson. She's joining us, and she's an executive coach, fundraising consultant, and host of the podcast called What the Fundraising, aimed at supporting nonprofit leaders to fundamentally change the way they lead and fundraise. And as a former executive director for a $3 million nonprofit, she grew from 300K. Mallory deeply understands the nonprofit funding hustle, and she loves helping nonprofit leaders raise more from the right funders without obnoxiously hounding them. So how do you know whenever I post a new show how to find everything? You join the Startup Live Live meetup group. Woohoo! It's a great way to dive deep into the founders and maybe do a little scoping of some founders you might like to invest in. So until we see you again, I'm just wishing you a delicious day everywhere you glow. I'm grateful that you tuned in. Those podcast listeners, please rate the show. It really mean a lot because I can reach more folks. And you video replay viewers, please share the love of the show. I'm so grateful for your time, for your presence. And remember, you've got this. All right, founders. Until next time, mwah. Cheers, everyone.